Wena wendlovu. Wena wendlovu. Bayede.
Inabohlungane kanje abuhlungane wompelebele hlungule emanxulubeni waze wasamanxulube sebikelana sishaka kasishayeki unodume hlezi kamenze ilembe leqamanya amalembe ngokhalipha ugawu bezawuliluma beyoliphimisa okhumbula amagabe bese lena bakabhideni limathethe nangeziyembezi wayesala kutshelwa wayesala kunyekezelwa kude kulabafazi bakwaNomgabhe bawude kula behlezi emlovini bathi ushaka kakubusa kakubankosi bathi lapho ezawunethezeka khona ushaka ngesaba ukuthi ushaka kwakuyinkosi yakithi emashobeni inkomo ekhale emthonjaneni zizwe zonke zizwile ukulila naye zodushwa wasebuyengweni ezomancengeza wengwakwakhali ezwangamatungwa akwakhumalo amantungodwa esaba lokuyehlela umlilo thetho kamjubana umlilo thetho ubuhanguhangu oshisa ikhofe sedlebe kwaye kwashane semabedlane wezwa bethi valela njalo somshalosi basho kuwe wena kandaba sebebhulunywa ukumbulaza wayevalela ingoma emedlini intethe egonoka tizamkhoto kwamalandela ephumukela bejubalala ilanga liphumela insizwa litheli phezulu lakasa lange liphathe elinye langemisebe ngoba liphathe lasemthandeni ozululisayo kwezana abantwana abadala kodwa bazibalekela bayethuzwa yedwa ikhanda lisile.
We welcome all of you. We thank you for taking your time to come to this function this morning. We are going to be led by His Majesty and also our leadership here, which include Ubaba Ushenge, Umntwana waphindangene, kanjalo futhi noBaba uChiliza, noBaba uRavukile, bese kuba ubaba ukhansela umele umeya weTheku umama uZandile Gumede. Si acknowledge futhi our brother here Esimasonke. So what is going to happen now is that we'll be led by His Majesty. We'll go the other side where we're going to be unveiling what we're going to be explaining to you, the parts that are here and what their purpose is and actually what is written. From there, we'll then proceed to the marquee, where then the formal function will then proceed. So at this point, I'm going to ask His Majesty, supported by Baba Ushenge, I'm then going to read His Majesty the King, Bayete Wenawendlovu, glory to God. This monument is built in honor of His Majesty the King, the late former President Polisasa Mandela, for their contribution and dedication serving the people of South Africa through culture, nation building, peace, non-violence, and eradicating poverty, by Mr. Ishwar Ramlutchman, Mabela Zulu, founder of Simananda World Peace Foundation, on the day of the 8th of November 2018. So let us pin this form, China, for Ramlutchman, then of course for his umntwana waphinda ngene His Royal Highness Prince Buthelezi siyabonga.
Yalipunga.
Yalipunga. Thank you, Chair. Siyabonga. Ngizofunda nje the late former President Dr. Nelson Mandela. Glory to God, this monument was unveiled by His Majesty the King, and Mr. Ramlutchman Zulu, founder of Sivananda Wellness Foundation, the Premier of KZN, Premier T.W. Mtunu, Prince Buthelezi, traditional Premier to the Zulu Nation, also PD Theresa, Chairman of the House of Traditional Leaders, Ramlutchman, Richard Park Trust, and Her Worship the Mayor of Ethekwini, represented by Councillor Zamina, to the 8th of November. Maybe at this point, let me then explain, so that you don't have to go to the details of the whole monument here, that behind these two that we have just unveiled now is another bus that talks to the peace that has been promoted by our leadership here, led mainly by His Majesty, mainly the promotion of peaceful coexistence between different racial groups in our city, more particularly between the Africans of the Zulu nations and people of Indian descent in our city. So this then is paying homage or respect to the work done by our leadership here, and to that we are so grateful. So what we then do at this point is to then ask Baba Udlamini, Councillor Udlamini, to then unveil this one for us. Baba Udlamini. Yeah, certainly. I won't be reading the whole message, but as you said, this is about the recognition of the peaceful coexistence and also the work or contribution, leadership division by our leaders here in the promotion of social cohesion and peaceful coexistence among the people of our city from different racial groups, cultures, language groups, and so on. We thank you for that. We then proceed and we have to ask Baba, also Theresa, and also Baba Vivian Reddy to then please unveil the next one for us, which is the last one. This one talks briefly to the history of the Zulu nation.
By it. May I ask all the males to please stand? And this is how we do it in honor of His Majesty. Wena wendlovu, wena wendlovu, bayede, yabonga, yes. Bayede, hlangalo mhlabathi, silo sikhulu, betshani phuma sicewini, Zulu eliphezulu, Ndlunkulu, base Lindu Zulu, Sheng, Muntwana Pindangene, Inkosi Keliza, the chairman of the House of Traditional Leaders, Baba Ravi Pillai, MEC for Housing in the province, Mapalaba, head of Parks and Recreation, Sibal Kulu, who's representing Worship the Mayor of Atikwini Municipality, Baba Vivian Reddy, Mr. A.V. Mohammed, Mr. Omi Singh, member of National Council of Province, present today, our religious leaders, our manager of the park, Mr. Gath Kloppenberg, our respected elder, Mr. Mulchan. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you in the name of God. Today marks a special moment in the history of our province at large and our country, as we come together to pay tribute to His Majesty, my King, and to honor the legacy of our first democratic elected President, Dr. Nelson Mandela. Today I stand here before you, being humbled to see that the vision and dream being achieved. And I want to thank all of you who have contributed towards the success today. I must say that for the 8 years ago, I put out a proposal to have this monument installed here. But as you know, things happen. But when God wills certain thing to happen at the right time, it happens according to His will. And therefore, today, I want to thank Her Worship, the Mayor, Zandelia Gumete, together with a dedicated team, and our Head of Parks, Mapaloba, who have assisted to ensure that the site is approved by Atikwini Council, and it was unanimously agreed that this monument will be installed here. Ngabonga kakhulu Mapaloba. The bus that have been installed, together with the history of the Zulus, the Khalid community, the Indian community, and the white community, have been inscribed in these plaques to remind our citizens that ultimately we belong to each other. Only when we come together and realize that we belong to each other, we will have a peaceful and united community. I want to pay special tribute to our King, His Majesty, Bayete Hlangalum Tlhabati, for his wonderful approval and encouragement for us to continue to promote his legacy. His Majesty is a true leader in the fight against poverty amongst our people. I have also come to pay tribute and pay respects to my King, whom I consider to be one of the greatest kings during our lifetime and since the reign of King Shaka Kasenza Ngakona. I'm so happy that Muntwana Pindangene is present here today, the Prime Minister to the Zulu Nation, who will bear testimony of His Majesty's role in serving the people of our country. And His Majesty will agree with me that his reign has perhaps been the most turbulent in the history of our country. It had to be so because it spans the period of the height of the struggle against various challenges in society. Lastly, I want to thank all of you for coming and sharing this historic occasion with us. And I want to also make mention that His Majesty visited this park and unveiled the King Goodwill Zwelithini Educational Center last year here. And as we have heard, the number of children that are benefiting from this educational center, you can see His Majesty's contribution in various fields. Actually, long before HIV and AIDS came about, His Majesty had this vision in the early 80s to start the Kosum Mhlanga and to revive it. And today we see over 50,000 to 60,000 maidens gather in Nyogeni Royal Palace. And when you have a gathering of such nature, you could see what kind of a king we have, that the people come to support and to promote His Majesty's vision. I want to also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Pathak and our ICCR head from the Indian consulate here based in Durban. I would, in conclusion, pay my eternal gratitude to God, my beloved masters Swami Shivananda and Swami Sahajananda, who have inspired me to continue to promote unity in diversity. Swami Sahajananda, who had great links with the Zulu monarch and Shenge, who have contributed in the field of education and built over 300 schools during apartheid days in the deep rural areas. So today we pay tribute to Sri Swami Sahajananda. I would like to end in a common motto: service to man is worship of God. We share in a common motto, and I'd like to emulate the teachings of my master, to see God in all names and forms, to serve the poor and the needy, seeing God in them, to relieve the pains, sorrows and sufferings of others, to share what you have with others, to be a cosmic friend and a cosmic benefactor, a friend of the poor, the forlorn, the helpless and the fallen is my creed, end quote. Ladies and gentlemen, today is historic, and I also before I leave, I want to acknowledge the presence of the princes and princesses that have accompanied His Majesty, and also we have a group of peace stalwarts that have embarked on a journey from Pretoria by foot to Kunu, and today they have arrived here in Durban. We welcome you, sir, and we are so fortunate that we have come at the right time when we come together to promote peace, unity in diversity here in KwaZulu-Natal. And it's very historic that you gathered here, and we wish you well in your journey as you move along to Kunu. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Bayethu hlangalo mhlabathi.